Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today. As we're going to continue our look at the eclipse energy portals, this is part 2, and it will focus on the Gemini Solar Eclipse happening on June 10th, 2021. In part 1, we talked about the Sagittarius lunar eclipse and why there was a lot of release and removal energies moving through the cosmos at this time and how those would be affecting us, how those energies would be working with us individually and collectively as we deeply let go of many layers of energies across multiple lifetimes. So now we're going to look at the Gemini solar eclipse occurring at 20 degrees of Gemini. And one thing that's very important here is that this energy between the sun and the moon, which are also conjunct Mercury retrograde, and that gives it a very strong influence about where our minds are being reprogrammed and elevated. How this is an eclipse energy of elevating and even a deeper awakening into the brain. The logical energies of Gemini have a lot of focus during this solar eclipse. And the way that the energies are being revealed to me is that this means there are parts of our neural pathways that are going to have fresh oxygen. And that's how they are showing this energy to me. And by they, I mean my guides and my spiritual team, as well as the galactic energies that I connect with. This strong Gemini solar eclipse is activating deeper layers of cellular tissue, DNA, energy in the brain, and it's different for everyone based on where you are in a soul growth experience and where you are in your lifetimes on this planet. And they're saying that there's different places that we're working within ourselves. So the internal reworking is going to be dominant, and that we're opening up new perceptions, new ways of receiving information, understanding information. There's openings here into what we're thinking about and how the mind is processing all of the stimuli of the physical world, as well as everything that we've accumulated across multiple soul experiences. So again, it's different for everyone. Of course, it's very individual, very personalized. And so they're showing it to me as the energy of going down a mine shaft, like a coal mine elevator, where the deeper you go, the energy changes, and it can, like, I'm feeling cold right now, like the energy gets colder or denser, or there's more parts of our minds that are being penetrated by deeper levels of understanding. And they're showing me this coal mine elevator, and as that elevator goes down, it is bringing in new oxygen, new air, new awareness. And they're saying that it also brings in new lights of consciousness, new lights of awareness that are going deeper into our brain, deeper into our programming, where things could have been really locked in and shut down for many lifetimes or many soul experiences, even in this lifetime. And that Gemini energy is getting a surge of light from the sun in our solar system. There are multiple suns in other solar systems, in other galaxies. And they're showing me that what's happening at a deeper level is that we're receiving new neutrinos into the mind that is a bit like digging in, like taking that light of consciousness, that new air, down deeper into the brain tissues, and it opens up. It's like there's this almost this release or this sense of the energy moving, and that gets something stirred up. And I feel it as a discomfort at first, that it's a bit like something gets maybe shocked open, or the energy is vibrating really quickly, because now they're showing me this elevator going down the shaft is shaking, almost like it's shaking with new awareness. But there's a liberation here. There also could be a density that is being penetrated and even exploded. I mean, there's like this energy of dynamite, like blasting something open. And it goes into the deeper parts of the brain, because they're showing me how a lot of our evolution on the planet has shut down the deeper energies we came in with that are from, again, other lifetimes, and the energies have been dormant. It's sort of like that collected experience or understandings that you've had through multiple lifetimes that are there, but they haven't been fully accessed. So there's new access coming in. It's like a fuller access of what you really understand about yourself. And so that's where they're going. Okay, that's where they're going with this, is that the energies are going deeper into our self-understanding to go into where we have been unknowingly shut down in our ability to know the self. And the energy right now, it feels very individual. And so it's a deeper knowing of yourself as an energy. And they're showing me that this elevator mind that's going down this shaft is going deeper into the mind. It's like the mind of consciousness, the soul's energy and the soul's evolution. And what it looks like is that this is tapping you into more of the soul's pure essence and understanding of itself when you first wanted to take a body, or maybe even one of those first lifetimes or soul experiences when there was a beautiful innocence, there was a purity, there was something that was authentic, whole, and complete, that was then shifted into other understandings through human experiences. So I feel like what we're going into here is bringing in higher lights of consciousness that connect us to more of the soul's essence and more of our understanding of who we are. And so this energy of the Gemini solar eclipse is deeply influenced by the square from Neptune at 23 degrees of Pisces direct. So Neptune is direct, and it's an outer planet, and it's also in its home sign of Pisces, as we know, where it's been since 2011. And so this is a very influential energy that is essentially blasting spiritual growth, higher understandings, universal laws, universal understanding into the smaller capacity of the brain. And they're showing me that as the brain's energy field has been condensed and contained in order to fit into our human skulls, and that what we're receiving is higher wisdom and understanding about ourselves beyond this physical world, beyond this lifetime, beyond this body, and that the energies of Neptune are assisting us in the mental spiritual growth of this time. And it's a very interesting energy because we can be locked into the trappings of our minds, and we can be spinning, we can be on autopilot and just going about our lives, going about our days, and our minds are just doing their thing. They're just operating, taking in information. Maybe you're reading posts on social media and you're texting and you're, doing your thing and going about your life. This energy is going in deeper. There's a deeper awareness, and they're showing me that these neutrinos, and they're coming through as beautiful little specks of light, but they're nano specks, and they have the potential to be embedded deeper in the brain, and it's like seeding little sparks of light into part of our mental programming that is an awakening energy. It's awakening to more of you, awakening to more of even what the brain is capable of, and how we're still, like in terms of science and research, there's still a lot that's being explored around the workings of the mind. But what they're telling me is that there's only so much technology in the human domain that can understand the mind, that it is really this very complicated computer that has so many layers that are connected to other energies from other domains, other realms, other places. They're showing me that this brain that we know as the human brain is actually seated and embedded with off-planet energies, that humans are programmed to understand more about the cosmos and the galaxy. But again, it's been hidden in the mind or hidden in our mental understandings. And then it's been covered up by many lifetimes of experiences. It's been covered up in our daily lives and our survival priorities and what we need to take care of, responsibilities, things that we do just in a day's time. So what they're saying is that this is an expansive energy, but that the brain is also really delicate, and we have to be very aware of how much it can take, how much energy, how much capacity, the bandwidth of the brain. And this is an eclipse that's going to help evolve and expand the brain, and that it's a beautiful time for the bigger picture of humanity's understanding of the cosmos. So they're really connecting this energy of our Gemini everyday environment. Gemini is how we travel and think and speak. Gemini is about how we go about our daily lives and what we do ponder and think about, what is operating in our minds. And what they're showing me is that we're getting a huge blast of cosmic consciousness for this Gemini solar eclipse. And the more that you can ground yourself and trust yourself, the more you're going to feel the energies come through. And they're saying that it can actually override the system, where the mind can start moving faster. It can speed up. There can even be a lot of stress or anxiety if you're not sure how to calibrate the energy. They're showing me that the mind is being accelerated to be in higher alignment with cosmic frequencies. And it feels really beautiful. It is definitely part of the overall awakening on the planet. But these energies are coming in a way that can create confusion, even mass confusion, because there's going to be new things stirred up, stirring the pot a bit, and even stirred up individually around who am I? What are my thoughts? What is my mind capable of? What does invigorate me? How much energy am I giving to my brain and my mind? And where do I need to calibrate it and work with it differently? And that this can feel like a lot, but at higher levels of consciousness, it's right on time, especially for what we're moving through this decade and where you're at in your own soul's growth. So the Gemini solar eclipse is going to bring in bursts of higher light and higher consciousness into our mental programming. This is going to open up new ideas, new potentials, new pathways. They're showing me breakthroughs and things happening quickly. There can be fast developments that are also connected to both the 5D and 7D energy fields. And this is part of the higher frequency that's being transmitted and coming through, is that we're going to have things happen quickly where they will happen outside of typical time and space. So they're showing me that in the 3D, we're very linear. We have a process, we have things we do, step 1, step 2, step 3. When you go up to 5D and 7D, it happens instantaneously. You can leapfrog. You leapfrog over certain steps or a certain part of the process because it's not needed. The energy moves faster. So there is a quickening here. There's an acceleration of what unfolds. And it's sort of like if you were to embark on a new endeavor, or you were ready to try something different in your life. You were ready to even reorganize a part of your house or change the furniture. They're saying that part of what we're doing here is reorganizing our mental energies to operate differently, where they're also saying that part of what we're doing is learning to get out of our mind. And that's part of that Neptune influence of the intuition, the feelings, the trust, the sense of I just have to do this, or this just feels right, even if I can't logically understand it or explain it. So all of that energy is blasting through, and it changes our processes. It changes how we go about something or how we make change, because a lot of change is happening at this time. We have a lot of mutable planets that are being activated. Immutable planets are about adapting and changing. They're also about, I don't want that. They're about making choices, looking at what is not of interest, where your energy does not go. So what we have here is a deep activation of 5D energies being implanted and embodied within us. And it is changing our programming, and it's changing how we go about our daily lives. So there's parts of a process that you're not going to need anymore. It could be that it just falls away or falls out. They're showing me this graph of step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, where you could go from step 1 to step 4. Step 2 and step 3 are skipped, but they're just not needed. And it can be that you're doing an upgrade or something is changing in your world or in your life. But they're showing me that this energy is actually symbolic of how the brain no longer requires the mental process as it did before. So you could have these new solutions and new gateways open at this portal where the energies are coming in and they're opening you up to something that can manifest quickly, that can show up quickly, that can come through quickly. Gemini is a quick moving energy. Gemini is a multitasker, and it can handle multiple priorities, multiple things going on at once. And they're showing me that this relates to the energetic realms where so many energies are happening simultaneously that's why there's a leapfrog, because everything is working together in a beautiful synergy. And it's like a complex ecosystem of energies colliding. I mean, that's what it looks like. It also looks like there's a dance. It's a synergistic dance that's happening where there are so many steps that are in alignment that there's a harmony here. There's something that's coming in and it's supporting us in what we are doing in our lives, what we're changing, what we're moving through. There's energy here that is helping you elevate and see your life differently or see what you want differently. Because there's so much change at play, there could be a lot happening for you that you can't wrap your mind around. And they're also saying this is very true of what's happening on the planet right now, where there is a lot happening. There is a lot that is coming through, being said, communicated, showing up through various communication channels, and that it's operating within a 3D paradigm. But these higher energies are in the 5D, 7D, and they are happening quickly. So they're showing me a split. Okay, there is a splitting of energies, a further separation between the 3D and the 5D realities, between those who are in the 3D timeline and those who are in the 5D timeline. There's a further split, and that's part of the portal energies of these eclipses, is that it's splitting up energies, which is for the best and highest good of all. And they're being very clear that there is no hierarchy. It does not mean that the 3D has to be bad or judged, same as the 5D doesn't have to be good or better and judged. They're saying it's different experiences. It's different playgrounds. It's different versions of reality, of which we all have our own individual reality, our own individual timeline, but this split is beneficial for where each individual is. And they're saying that there are some souls on the planet who are very young and they need 3D experiences. And they're showing me the root chakra. They're showing me a lot of root chakra energy too around why certain industries are prominent on the earth. And it's because for souls, and they're saying this is like their third lifetime. They're souls who have only incarnated very low numbers of time, and they're moving through different energies right now to really understand more about Earth and themselves, understand more about what is important. Perhaps there's even lessons they signed up for. And they're showing me a lot of, again, root chakra energies, which are very active at this time on the planet for some people. And that the root chakra energy can be stuck, and it's stuck in war, it's stuck in survival, it's stuck in the ego and a sense of self. They're also saying that you might recognize these qualities in yourself, where maybe earlier in your life, some of these energies were really prominent for you and you moved through them through your own awakening and ascension experience. And they're saying too, like, this is why there are some themes on the planet that are so strong at this time, because they're very root chakra. And this does pertain to first coming into the body and wanting to feel safe, secure, powerful, successful. They're saying this also relates to lower levels of sexuality, where there is a lot on the internet around sexuality. This is very root chakra. When it isn't elevated, when it doesn't have the higher energies of love or respect. They're saying that these are like the darker root chakra energies as well, that are related to what is shifting on the planet, the cleanup, the changes, the removals, the energies that need to be either removed from the planet or shifted in some way. And they're also showing me the shutdown. Interesting how they're saying shutdown, which is different than the lockdown. They're saying there's been a shutdown of energies that's coincided with the lockdown, and that a lot has been removed because the energies needed to be shut down. And that part of what is coming up now is that now there are new openings on the planet, and it's a bit like a very vulnerable opening, almost like it needs to be blasted with light to be healed. So they're showing me these pockets on the planet that are pretty raw. I mean, they look pretty exposed and tender. And part of these eclipses, the energies are bringing in some healing into those. It's geographical locations that they're showing me. And it's places that have been corrupt, and there's been a lot of harm. My energy always sinks with this stuff, which is okay. I know how to manage it and to get it back to a more stable point. But they're showing me the deeper, darker energies of harm that have been done. And these eclipses are going to support the healing process. And it is a process. And so it's actually been damage to the earth itself, to Gaia, but then also the human energies that are involved. They're showing me some parts of the globe where a lot has survived in the darkness. A lot has survived and been even protected. But all of that is changing during these eclipses. And they're saying it's actually a gentle healing process. So gentle on the earth, but gentle in these geographical locations that have held some really dense, dark, it's like a dark red energy, like that burning, painful red. Similar to, if your body has any kind of injury or sore on it and it gets really red, it's inflamed. That's the word. It's inflamed. And this energy is coming in to gently heal what has been inflamed on the planet. And part of the eclipse portal energies, especially in Sagittarius and Gemini, is that they offer new directions for growth, new energies. It's very adaptable. And so I'm feeling like there is this energy coming through that is both gentle and calming, but also there's a barrier of energy being put on certain locations so that they're protected during a healing process. And they're saying a lot of this has to do with what was stirred up in 2020, as well as the changes on the planet in 2020. So a deeper healing process is underway. It feels quite covert and undercover. It feels like it is very divinely protected. And they're showing me how the planet has this gorgeous Merkaba of energy around it, that the energies of that Merkaba have healing rays and a filter. And it's like a filter that keeps out what is no longer wanted on the planet, almost like denied access. And then it also shows me that there's energies that are being contained on the planet to help with the healing process. So it feels very loving and kind. It feels very strong. And it also feels like there is a whole new level of consciousness coming through during these eclipse portals. It's being downloaded in our sleep. They're showing me it's being downloaded at multiple levels of our energy fields. So downloaded in our sleep because of how the brain will not shut off, but there's different parts of the brain that can be accessed in the sleep, and then that allows the energies to come through in a fuller manner. They're showing me the energies are working with us emotionally, spiritually, physically, across basically all layers of our energy fields. And this happens with every eclipse, but this eclipse is different in terms of, or the set of eclipses, is different because it's working with us at a neurological programming level. And I know nothing about the brain, so I hope this makes sense. But what it feels like is that we are being, I'm going to say, granted deeper access to more of our own soul's story. And we're being given more access because our own consciousness has been elevated to the point where we can connect the dots and understand it, where it's not like it goes in one ear and out the other. There's a deeper understanding here. It's like the energy's coming in, and you could be feeling this very powerfully in your third eye chakra. So that's the other part of this. They're saying that not only is it the deeper tissues of the brain, but there is an expansion of energies that is probably going to really blast open that third eye chakra for so many people, where you might start seeing new visuals, new images. There might be things that you're receiving in terms of messages or understandings that you're like, what does this mean? What's this about? What's going on here? Where you're looking for a way to understand it, almost like, where do I file this? Where do I take this information and file it in my brain? And they're saying that we are going to be expanding our spiritual gifts, expanding what we're capable of because we're individually and collectively ready for it. And that this is part of the human brain's evolution. How the brain is growing within itself. So it's not a growth that happens in size. It's a growth that happens internally as the energies transition and shift. So at a more concrete level, we're going to have new inspirations, new ways of living our life, new things that call to us. You might feel inspired to try something new, or your mind is now focused on other areas of life or other projects, other passions, other things that call to you. There are new energies coming in that are reminding you that you're capable of so much more than you thought. Okay, so thought being a very brain-oriented word. They're saying that our thoughts are expanding. What we thought was possible, how we're able to think and process information. This is also related to the age of Aquarius energies, where we're expanding what's possible on the planet as well as within ourselves. So there is an interesting dynamic here where the Gemini solar eclipse is a portal into even more of what's possible for you that you weren't ready for, you didn't know if you wanted it, or you just didn't think about it. It's literally like there's new dreams coming through, new potentials, new awakenings, new ideas. And this means we could see breakthroughs, even more breakthroughs, in anything around what we use and do on this planet. Certainly this supports engineering, technology, science, anything around how we process information. This can be beneficial for teaching, whether that is anything from preschool, elementary, up to higher ed. There are new ways that we're going to have openings into solutions, potentials, inspirations. It's almost like it's unlimited. The potential here is unlimited. Now, this is the last Gemini eclipse for about 9 years. And so that means that we're going to have opportunities to continually grow and develop this energy. Every time the sun moves through Gemini every year, it's going to raise our awareness about this part of our energy field and allow us to keep growing and developing the energies of this eclipse. Because it is a solar eclipse, it has a real strength to it. And it was really interesting how what I was feeling before I even started recording this podcast is I started to feel very active crown chakra energies. Then I felt it very strongly in my third eye chakra. So a lot moving, a lot happening. And what was opening up was really quite beautiful. And this is actually really specific. So you have to discern if this would resonate with you or not. But they were saying that part of this eclipse can open up more of your father's dreams. Again, very specific. And you might not even know what your father's dreams were, but that's part of the solar influence where the sun can be, one of the ways the sun is used is understanding it's connected to the father. And so there's something that comes alive here. There's something that's being activated. Now, it could be that you are a father and you're having new dreams about your life, but the message was really clear. So just to share, if there's something here where you're picking up the energies of a new dream, there could be a dream that is supported by your father. And I'm feeling that as more of a spiritual energy, because if your father is alive and he's in your life, then maybe that's something you have a conversation about. But if he's not in the physical body anymore, there could be energies coming through where even your father or the archetype of the father is supporting your dreams or supporting your next step. Another message that I'm hearing very clearly about these eclipse energy portals is that because they overlap, meaning the energies are happening simultaneously, where you could feel split. You could feel like you have things happening that you're leaving or you're outgrowing or you're no longer interested in. It's that energy of, finishing things up, tying up loose strings, completion, while that new energy is coming forward and propelling you into a new direction, a new opportunity, a new part of your life. This is happening within us as a bi-directional spiral. So I'm seeing a spiral of energy that's going down the body and a spiral of energy going up the body. They're spinning in different directions, and they're spinning at the rate of your DNA, and they are energies that are both rising and releasing simultaneously. And then they're showing me these energies, the energy going down, the releasing energy that's clearing, cleansing, is doing so at all 7 chakras and in the aura. They're saying too that this is by choice, meaning if you as a soul opted in, you selected yes, I'll check the box, I want to opt in to this spiral clearing, that it's happening for you. And you can always opt in now if you have not, if you feel like this is all new information and you want to make the most of these energies. They're showing me this spiral that's moving down, clearing and cleansing the 7 chakras and aura, is going down into the earth and is being dispersed. It's being energetically dispersed and cleansed, and that it's energy that is allowing the earth to transmute whatever's being released. So the earth being supportive, the earth being an energy of support. And then the energy that's rising, that's spinning in the opposite direction and going up, they're showing me that that is a spiral where it actually has a point outside of the earth gravitational pull, so outside of the Earth's energy field, where all the energy comes together and it's all spiraling towards the Milky Way, or the point or energy of the Milky Way galaxy. It's like the energy is spiraling. So it's sort of this, it feels like it's a stretching up and grounding down in a very fascinating way that we are evolving and elevating as a species. And they're saying this has to be done in measured amounts, that the human body can only take so much. And in fact, if it's too much at once, then it overruns the system and it can create disease. Disease being dis-ease, where the body is at dis-ease with the energies. So it's sort of like turning on a vacuum for a short amount of time and then turning it off so that it's not too much. And they're saying that these eclipses are doing just that. They're doing a lot within our energy fields that we can't quite understand, but we can feel it or sense it. We can understand it in some corners of our mind. Even if, logically you look around your body, you're like, I don't see anything spinning. The energy waves are really supporting us in this rising of consciousness, but also in the rising of soul consciousness. So it feels very invigorating. It feels too that part of what we are understanding is how to regulate our energy. And they're saying that this can be harder with Gemini because Gemini just wants to go and will always be active and moving in multiple directions. So the regulation could be tricky, where you will have to trust your body, trust what you're feeling, trust what you're sensing. This pertains to what you're eating and consuming and how much you are hydrating. They're also saying that sleep is very important even for weeks after eclipses because of how long it takes to calibrate the energies. So what we have here is a deeper recalibration of our energy fields that supports us in getting out of our minds, which is that energy of Neptune squaring Sun, Moon, and Mercury retrograde in Gemini, as we continue to open up to more energies that we can trust and tap into. And it feels like more of these energies that are rising up are reminding us of the purity of our soul's journey, the essence of which we wanted to be here and have certain experiences and play in this energy field. It feels like this is a portal to do so, a portal to look at where you're ready to see things differently, ponder it in a new way, or just stay open. Stay open to what you didn't know. Stay open to new information, new details, new understandings. They're also saying that because that third eye chakra can be very strongly activated, you could have flashes from other lifetimes where you could all of a sudden be pulled into watching different movies or TV shows about different times and places because it strongly resonates with you. They're saying that there could be things happening where energetically we're moving in new ways and moving in new directions that the mind doesn't get. And that's part of the gift. Part of the gift is to step out of the mind, which is fascinating when we have all this Gemini energy, but that Neptune and Pisces is overrunning it and is saying it's time to go bigger in your energy field. And so another thing they're saying is that you could have a push-pull between your intuition and your logical mind. You could feel like you're stuck, like you're at a stalemate. What do I trust? What do I go towards? What is right for me? And the winner, quote unquote, or the stronger energy is Neptune. And it is your intuition. It is the messages coming through that you can't avoid, that you can't get away from. It's the messages and energies coming through where actually your energy is going to rise. It's going to rise up and it's going to help elevate you into seeing your own capabilities from a new perspective. And maybe that's the best way to end this podcast, is that this is an energy portal of rising up to understand yourself, your life, your experiences from a broader perspective that is a higher integration with your spiritual self and with your soul's essence. So we are getting out of our minds. We're practicing that, I should say. We're becoming more aware of all the energies around us that we dance with, that we have harmony with, and we have the ability now to trust it. So trusting your intuition, trusting the third eye chakra visuals or messages, trusting what comes through even when the mind will question it, the mind will challenge it, the mind will be like, show me the details, show me the specifics. This is a portal where you're learning to trust in a much deeper way. And then that is the energy that is going into the brain, where the ability to trust is going to be stronger. And you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it like, oh yes, I know this is right for me. I feel it. It's a really fascinating energy, and I hope I've explained it well because it has many nuances to it. And it is specific, again, to each of you, to each of us, based on where we're at in our journey and in our relationship with our soul's energy. So a very fascinating portal, a very expansive energy, and a way that we're being guided to show we're supported. It's like this navigational tool is coming in. And I guess that's what I'm supposed to end this on. We're receiving new navigational tools that we can trust and work with if you want to, if you're willing to, if it resonates. And these new navigational tools are going to help us in the years ahead, especially. So I am being reminded to share with you that you can access more channeled messages. It's called the Galactic Center on my website. I'll put the link below this podcast. I'm actually feeling really dizzy right now, so just a moment. Okay, so the Galactic Center is where you can log in and listen for free to my channeled messages that are not released on this channel or on YouTube. And that's where there is that part 2 message that I was guided not to release back in January. I did release it on my website. And then I have another message for you that's coming through this week. This is May 31st, so the first week of June, there will be a brand new channeled message that will be available, and it's going to cover energies of the current economic situation. They gave me some really fascinating information about vaccine energies. It is a non-judgmental topic. I know some people get really riled up about this, but I go higher when I'm sharing these messages, and they gave me beautiful understandings of the vaccine energies. I also had asked them about World War II. Now, let me preface it by saying that over the past number of years, especially, I have really noticed that there's a lot of World War II energies in entertainment, in books, in movies, in all these stories. And I was just really curious about that. I'm like, why? Why are we talking about World War II? So they gave me some fascinating information on that. And then we also talked about the new earth energies that are coming in as well. So this particular message will be available in the Galactic Center, which you can find the link below. If you're already signed up, you can just log in to access that information as well. And I hope that this helps with understanding more of what's happening on the planet at this time, because it's certainly a very big time. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your presence and energy and interest in these messages. I am glad that so many of us are on this same page with what we're moving through. And I hope that this has supported you and what you may be experiencing during these eclipse energy portals. I will be back every Wednesday and Monday for another podcast episode. And as always, you can find out more about me at mollymccord.online, as well as across my various social media platforms. Thank you for joining me. And I have to sign off now because I'm still so dizzy. And I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.